What's up, everybody? Welcome. It's Orange Bloods Live. I'm Jeff Ketchum. That is Chad Hastings. Do us a solid, like the page, comment on the page, subscribe to the page. Everything you can do to the page within reason, do that. We'll be talking Texas football, reaction to the playoff announcements from last night, the committee, and revealing its first top 25 rankings. We'll get into that. More than anything, though, Chad, I woke up today. It just dawned on me. National Signing Day is basically a month away.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I saw an update on Orange Bloods that Jason had on a recruit.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the people responded with, like, no offense, but like, I just don't care about any high school recruits. That what I care about is what happens in the portal. And I don't care that National Signing Day is in a month from now. And while I wouldn't say that's completely how I feel, I do understand that. I do understand how Texas fans would be looking at a football team that just signed the nation's number one recruiting class in 12 months ago or 13 months ago, or I guess 11, and haven't seen much of that impact on the field this season. It's like, well, what good? It's the number one recruiting class in the country if none of those guys can really get on the field outside of a Grayson Littleton really consistently, he and Lance Jackson. Whereas one of the conversation topics that has taken place all season long is, what if Texas has just got a couple of portal offensive linemen? What if they just gotten one fast wide receiver? What if they had replaced Jaden Blue and added some playmaking at tailback? What if? Now that we are a month away from signing day and essentially 2 months away from the portal, I do kind of feel like the portal has killed high school football recruiting.
Yeah, that is a wild thought. By the way, for the record, Money B wants to get in early with he still cares. Money B still cares.
How much do you care, though? Maybe that's the question, right? Because it's not you don't care at all. But if Texas is recruiting a high school offensive lineman right now, you care? Really?
Yeah.
Like, what would it take for you to really care?
Well, the thing that popped in my head, Money B, always great to see you. I thought of two names, Catch. Would you care on a different level if you're a Texas fan if DeCorian Moore and Michael Fasusi were wearing your uniform this year? I
don't think so, because these aren't the kind of guys that are available right now. And I think that, look, there's no getting around the fact that there is a little bit of it's part of the conversation that we've had about Brandon Baker, right? What do you do with a guy who is conventionally on time to be a good player, but you've paid so much money, you've made so much investment, there's dead money, if you will, it's like infrastructure costs, but it's a tough thing to tell someone to only care about the fixing of the bridges while the bridges are being fixed. It's hard to get people excited about that stuff.
Right.
I'm with Money B. Like, I only care about the big dogs. There's not a lot of those out there right now. And if you ask me, who do I care more about right now? A 5-star offensive lineman or a top 25 college portal guy? I'm going to be honest. The portal guy is going to play next year.
Right.
And one of the things I did, Chad, over the weekend was I looked at Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama, Texas, and Oregon. Those are the 5 schools that finished in the top 5 in recruiting a year ago. They're the schools that had the 5 best rosters in college football. None of those teams of all of those recruiting classes combined, 3 starters, guys who've started 1 game this season, 3 guys. There's no more than 6 or 7 who are on a 2 deep across all of those rosters. Those guys are going to come good. They're going to be NFL players. But in terms of interest, with these guys committed and you're just waiting to see if anybody flips or not. I don't know. Like, I love recruiting and I'm pretty disinterested in it right now.
Man. Yeah. I mean, I think of,
and I'm the Walter Cronkite of recruiting.
You are. I was going to say, if you're, It's like Ron Jeremy back in the day, not caring about his industry. Like, I just don't really care about it. Whoa. Okay. And by the way,
I want to, Chad. I want to.
By the way, Buck Wild Longhorn, what's up? How are you? Buck Wild accused me of not saying hi to him the other day, Catch, which I don't understand.
Did you not say hi to him? Like, what's up?
No clue.
I know you're telling me he accused you of that.
He accused me.
Is he right? Did you do that?
No. He did not directly say hi to me before the show began. That was the issue. Okay, someone said hi to me before the show began. I said hi back in the chat. Buck Wild said, Chad never says hi to me. I'm like,
I just thought maybe for a second you were being a dick, but it's okay.
No. Buck Wild
doesn't sound like that happened.
Buck Wild knows I love him. We make truck sounds. If I make the truck sound for you, there's no way I dislike you. It is just not.
Or you might hate him. Like it could also go the other way around.
Nope, not as much as we talk Smokey and the Bandit. Nope. I will not have it said that I hate truckers. That is not. No. I love the truckers. I'm a Smokey and the Bandit era guy. Jay, I see the super chat. We will get to it. Let's see. We'll throw it up here real quick. $5 at this moment. What are our projected needs next year? Offense, it's 2 guards, and then I have no idea on D.
Jay, I think this is something I'll be writing about a little bit more. Maybe even this weekend. It's a good time. The bye week, I can really spend some time kind of doing a little bit of a roster analysis. But look, I don't think Derek Cooper is enough at running back. So while you're getting the high school, I don't think Texas can't do the thing where they put all of their eggs in some kid coming from the high school ranks to be the absolute problem solver. And we saw him do it at punter 2 years ago. The same principles apply, even though they're wildly different responsibilities. If Derek Cooper is a freshman All-American, fantastic. If he's Bijan Robinson and we're like, man, they're not playing him enough, that's a good problem to have. Most of the times it doesn't work out that way. See CJ Baxter, see any of the running backs, all 5 classes signed running backs of the Big 5 that I mentioned. Only one school's got one guy who's really having a breakout year, and everybody else's running backs are not doing a whole lot. I think if you're Texas, you got to find a way to add some playmaking at running back. I think you've got to add some speed at receiver. This year's wide receiver recruiting class is okay. They need to go get a couple of guys at wide receiver. I don't think the tight end position has been good enough this season. And my God, every time I go to Pro Football Focus, and look, to be fair, last year Pro Football Focus hated Gunnar Helm as well, and he was good. So, but every week they're the lowest rated players at the position.
Yeah, they really must not like injuries if they didn't like Helm.
They don't. But they rate all of the Texas tight ends really low. And look, forget about Pro Football Focus for a little bit. We know that is not a position that's making a dramatic impact both in the run game and as in the receiving game this year. So I'm not going to do what they did on the offensive line and be like, no, we've promised these guys it's their turn. Fuck that. Like, that's why you're 7-2 instead of 8-1 or 9-0, because you did a little too much of that. And so I think all of the things that we've talked about, nothing's changed on offense. Those needs have not gone away. They need a couple of linemen. They need a running back. They need a couple of receivers. They need maybe a tight end. And then I think if you look on the defensive side of the ball, I think you're cherry picking for elite guys if you can get them. This might be the year where if a David Bailey's in the portal and you're like, well, we've got Colin Simmons. Should we spend $1.52 million on a guy to put opposite him? And you might come around to saying, no, we like who we have. Lance Jackson's going to be a starter. We should invest that money elsewhere. Cool. Defensive tackle, though. I think you go through all of the positions. I don't think there's a place they're desperate at. You can make a case, though, that we haven't seen enough at the corner and safety positions in the 2 deep. Kobe Black hasn't consistently been good. Kind of hard to know exactly what Cade Phillips is right now. They're paying him a lot of money. He was a 5-star guy, but you could make a case that getting a starting level corner and or a starting level safety to cover your backside, if the right guy's available, go get Brad Spence. That guy wasn't really a need this year. That was just a guy that they looked at and went, that guy makes our football team better. How will we use him? Yeah. I don't know. We'll play him at linebacker. We'll play him at edge. He's so good, we'll figure it out. And now we're at a point in the season with him, a little bit like Trey Moore last year, right? Where we got to about this part of the season and we went, kind of like that guy's going to be back next year. Whereas the first month of the season, it was like, I don't know. Maybe this is one that they should have used that spot on something else. I think if you're getting good players, I almost don't care where you're getting them at, because I will always center back to, for me, this is about improving the middle belly of your roster, right? It's not, can you get guys that improve your first 22? Those are priorities if you can find them. Yeah. Then are there guys that we can get onto our 2 deep that improve our first 44?
Yeah. And to be fair to this discussion today, are you talking about portal? Are you talking about recruiting? Or are you talking
about recruiting at all? That is kind of the point, Chad.
Exactly. That's why I was wanting to circle back around. You are only discussing portal here, correct?
Correct. Because Texas signed the #1 recruiting class in the country. Nobody did better. In fact, you can't look at any of the top recruiting classes right now and say that the other people's recruiting classes, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, their classes are not outperforming Texas. Now, I think Texas fans have been really frustrated because it's like, where's Justice Terry? Where are those wide receivers? Yeah. Why can't we get this guy on the field? Yeah. What's up with, you know what I mean?
Right. You did. And you did name one guy who's really stepped up. Lance Jackson has turned into a badass freshman.
Well, Lance Jackson and Grayson Littleton have been the two guys.
There you go. Littleton too.
From Jump Street, where you've been like, okay, well, those guys. Now, Jackson was a 5-star and Littleton was like a national top 100 guy. So weirdly, Littleton would have been the crown jewel on about 130 different programs in the country.
But not that one. Yeah.
And at Texas, there was a little bit of like, why is that guy playing instead of Jonah Williams and Cade Phillips? Like
now there's some crying on a yacht. There's some champagne problems right there.
The wealthiest of wealthy people problems. Yeah. Who does this Grayson Littleton think he is jumping in front of these other guys?
How dare you?
How dare he?
How dare you play well against Ohio State while they're on the sidelines? Oh, my God. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's so weird. I'm thinking of the portal the other day, Catch, because of all these coaching changes. And, once this new version.
Quick, Chad, your Aggies, they are where they are right now because some high school classes kicked in last year or because they shopped really well in the portal and changed like the makeup and dynamic of what they're capable of.
Yeah, the things that you look for that really shine with A&M, the reason you'd know about them, it's portal stuff. Those 2 receivers that everybody's talking about are portal, and the guy that had 3 sacks on 3 consecutive plays, portal. Just to name 3 guys you might have heard about, with A&M, those 3 guys.
Fans haven't stopped talking about those 2 receivers all season long. They're so pissed because they know just the profile of those 2 guys. If you just added one of those guys to the Texas offense, it opens up everything for everybody. Yep. The one thing this offense really doesn't have is a guy that can just blow the top off and, just draw coverage and traffic, and safety's got to be over here over the top because we're scared to death of him. Texas just doesn't have that guy. And that isn't to say that Parker Livingston's not a good deep ball. He's a really good vertical threat, but it's a different type of vertical threat. It's not that, it's just different. And I think they've got to go get that guy, and I don't think you can take the chance. The other thing is there's a misnomer that it's risky to go into the portal. I hear that a lot from naysayers of the portal that, you sign a guy and you just don't. You're getting about, of the top 100 guys that were ranked in the portal a year ago, there's about an 80% start rate out of those guys at the new schools that they go to immediately. Now, some of those guys won't be great starters, right? That's not to say that all those guys are great players, but they are immediately contributing. And most of those guys are going to teams with pulses, right? I mean, you start talking about the top 100, everybody's shopping in that group of players. And usually most schools are getting 2 or 3 or 4 guys. But when you shop in that tier, that's when you're getting – I mean, look at A&M. Look at what A&M signed in the portal and then go, hey, the Concepcion guy was rated really highly. How's he doing? It's like, oh, well, without him, they're not undefeated. Oh. and I don't know. Matter of fact, I do know. There's no freshman on that A&M, true freshman on that team right now that's like, oh, he's Derek Johnson. I mean, without him, they're not 8-0. They've got good young talent. They've got good, but you wouldn't say that Texas is 6-2 because of Lance Jackson. For better or for worse, the record is not changing on that. And I think that what's killing high school is that fans have become smarter, and they're like, well, wait a minute. I got super excited about Jonah Williams. That dude ain't playing. Like, who? Talk to me about somebody who plays next year, because I think that's the other thing. What we know about this current era of college football is, don't tell me about a rebuild. You do not have to rebuild. We are watching in real time programs now annually. Like they're building it as they go. The rebuild is in an off season, and then there's almost like an immediate playoff level team. And I don't necessarily think – I think the A&M discussion's a bit – it's a really talented roster that should have been in the playoff discussion anyway. The portal, though, has given them some like juice that quite frankly they lacked a year ago. And it wasn't that long ago that A&M and Jimbo was one of the last of like the we don't need to go into the portal. You know, he wasn't that far away from Dabo.
Yeah.
And it might have cost him his job when it was all said and done. That had he been as aggressive as Mike Elko in the portal at the beginning of the portal, who knows how that thing changes? So I don't know. It's to me, it's a fascinating conversation because I love recruiting. I love high school football recruiting, but I have no one in the world has it all down to as much of a pseudoscience, close to a science as possible as I do. It's hard to get excited about somebody that you know in 2 or 3 years might hit at a 20% rate. It's hard to get excited about that. And that is 95% of college football recruiting.
Yeah. All right, let's take a breath here. We'll hear from AV Consultations. If you want to throw us a super chat, we will get to it. Texas was not in the top 12 of that first CFP. We may discuss that too.
Hi, this is Tom McKay, owner of Audiovisual Consultations, and we'd like to take a moment to thank all of our clients for making the last 37 years both fun and fruitful. If you haven't yet, I'd like to invite you to give us a try for all your home electronics needs. There's no need to leave your home to find great pricing and incomparable service. No traffic, inexperienced sales geeks, or pushy showroom tactics. We come to you. So just relax, hug your kids, and smile. We handle all the work. Just give us a call at 255-8678 or online at avconsultations.com.
Catch, as you were talking about the portal, I've been thinking about all these coaching changes and what will be available theoretically, right? And I thought about, you mentioned the 2 A&M receivers. What about Singleton at Auburn? Does he wish he'd gone somewhere else now? Texas?
Well, of course he does, because he's had the worst quarterback play. Like, his coach got fired. His quarterback sucks. His stats have suffered.
When I watch that guy, I think about, okay, it's unless they put together a heck of an argument for that with that new coach, he may end up wanting to go somewhere else. What about your guy, Barry and Brown, that you talked about for so long at Kentucky? Go find another opportunity. He did. Now they're firing Kelly. Is he going to end up somewhere else? I think about Caden Durham. I think about Caden Durham, the running back at LSU, who just has not gotten it going at all.
He's the guy that could end up being a portal guy because they've got Harlem Berry.
Yeah. Does he end up somewhere else? When you think about the teams and the levels of talent that might be available, because every single guy on Florida, LSU, Penn State, and they're not all going to be satisfied. They're not all going to say, oh my God, you hired that guy. That's terrific. We're all staying. there will be plenty of dudes in the portal, and that's makes it more of that immediate move. The thing about today's discussion that's weird for me is that we all know deep down that recruiting is important. I just think you've laid it out well. It's a time issue. It's just a time issue. It's like saying, are you getting excited about having life insurance?
No, it is.
Are you getting excited when you're 24? Are you excited about your 401k? Well, not really. Like, are you excited about your Social Security check when you're 30? Well, no. So it's like it's that long-term versus right now. And somebody mentioned Branch in the chat. There's another guy that ended up in the portal at Georgia, making an impact. And you look around the country, we are not seeing as many of those. Heck, Jeremiah Smith was last year. Ryan Williams, freshman.
Well, there's usually a couple of those guys every year.
There's been a couple, but I feel like we're seeing, I don't know, I feel like there's less and less on really impactful teams where you go, oh my God, that guy's a freshman.
Smith and Ryan Williams don't happen every year.
Right.
To the extent that like DeCorian Moore has been sensational.
Yeah.
He's not at those levels.
I think back to when Travis Etienne, he's the older of the Etiennes, right? When Travis Etienne was a freshman on I think a championship team at Clemson, and you're like, oh my God, but that doesn't happen every year. Every impactful team doesn't have some freshman running back that's giving them, those kind of impactful plays. So it is about portal, and we've talked about the fact that Sark and all these other coaches got to adjust. They have to, because the old day version, the way back version was Bill Snyder. And we are so far from Bill Snyder, it is hard to describe it right now. And these coaches have got to catch up, and they've got to catch up fast. And, it'll redefine the end of Dabo at Clemson. You mentioned Jimbo. Heck, is it partially why Saban isn't at Bama anymore? All that stuff. Like the embracing of the portal is going to be critical. And hey, recruiting is just going to have to become kind of a slightly different discussion.
Just for the sake of educating everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And to give everybody like an idea of what we're talking about. Let's just real quickly go through the other big dog programs. Okay. Alabama's 5 highest rated players in there, or Georgia's 5 highest rated players in their recruiting class. Defensive tackle, Elijah Griffin. He's played in every game for the Dogs. Got 12 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. Does it sound like another 5-star? Kind of, sort of. Played it in a lot of games, but not really doing anything. Defensive end, Isaiah Gibson, played in 2 games, isn't on the 2 deep. Wide receiver, Taylor, played in the first 4 games, going through a red shirt. Mm-hmm. Linebacker, Zayden Walker, 1 tackle, 4 games, looked like he's going to a red shirt. Tight end, Elias Williams, isn't on the 2 deep, but has played in a bunch of games. And that's Georgia. If we go to Alabama, they've got Keelan Russell, played 1 game this season as quarterback. Not a huge shocker. Michael Carroll, offensive lineman, 5-star, one of the best in the country. He's in the rotation at right tackle. He plays between 10 and 40 snaps a game, depending on the game. Deion Lee is probably the best player that they've signed. He's probably a freshman All-American. He's their starter. Offensive tackle Jackson Lloyd has played in 3 games, redshirted. Cornerback Chuck McDonald played in a couple of games, redshirted. Those are the 5 best players at Alabama. Like Texas,
yeah,
they've got a corner who's playing at a freshman All-American level. And that's about all of the real contributions they're getting. If you look at Oregon, DeCorian Moore, slam dunk, leads them in receptions, yards, and touchdowns.
Yeah, that has worked. He hadn't exactly been Williams or Smith, but it's close.
But listen to the next 4 best players they signed. 5-star Naeem Offord, a cornerback, not on the 2 deep. Safety Trey McNutt hasn't played in a game. Cornerback Brandon Finney hasn't played in a game. Cornerback Dorian Brew, remember that name? Hasn't played in a game. They've got, of their 5 guys, their 5 best guys, 3 of them haven't played in a game this year. 1 of them isn't on the 2 deep. And then you've got DeCorian Moore. But because DeCorian Moore is so flashy, it's a little bit like, Oregon's playing all their, you know what I mean? It's one guy.
Right. It's one dude.
And then if we go to Ohio State.
By the way, real quick, Catch, the tragedy of what you just said is that a guy named Trey McNutt has not found the field yet. That's a shame. True shame.
I'm just not going to say it. With Ohio State, Tavian St. Clair, one game, quarterback duds, kind of what you would expect.
Yeah.
Cornerback Devin Sanchez.
Oh, yeah.
Is the guy who has top 10 player in the country. He has started a game for Ohio State, so he qualifies.
Yeah.
Wide receiver Quincy Porter, 3 catches, 45 yards.
Wow.
2 games played. Linebacker Riley Pettyjohn. He's on the 2 deep, but he's only made 6 tackles this season.
Right. And he was on that 2 deep for the Texas game, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But even though he's been on the 2 deep all year long, he's got 6 tackles all season.
Gotcha.
And then the 5th guy of their top 5 is Carter Lowe. He played in 1 game. He's headed for a red shirt. He's an offensive lineman. They will be having, whether they're ready for it or not, there's a Carter Lowe conversation with Ohio State in their building that's similar to the Brandon Baker conversation. What did they pay to get a 5-star offensive lineman in Carter Lowe? And what does it mean that he made no impact in year 1? And what suddenly can you live with to justify it in year 2? These are all conversations that are going to be taking place all over the country. It doesn't feel like these are conversations, though, that you have with portal guys.
Yeah.
All of the risk is really associated on the high school side of things. And it is fascinating to hear Sark talk about it because he talks about portal guys as culture risks.
Yeah,
as opposed to high school guys who could also be culture risks, Chad, but are significant talent risks.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that earlier. Really, the whole culture thing. Because basically what we're talking about is the difference between a long-formed relationship and a speed dating relationship. That's what we talked about with Portal. Got to get to know a guy fast. But that doesn't mean he's going to walk into your locker room and destroy it.
Well, right? And that's a bit disingenuous too, because and not that you're being disingenuous, just that like Matthew Golden was a guy that Texas recruited in high school.
That's true.
So when he went into the portal, sometimes finishing second in the portal era is actually like, I'll give you an example. Yeah. There's a lot of people that are like, you know who you need to keep an eye on for Cam Coleman? A&M. Because they finished second in his recruitment. And if he's shaky and A&M comes in with a bunch of money, they will have had the relationship that might give it an advantage. These are things that Sark's weird when he talks about this because in one side of his mouth, it's like, oh, it's very risky. Without like, there are no magic high school kids. Like,
right. There's risk.
When Chris Ross got thrown out of the program and scrubbed from the website in like 5 minutes a couple of years ago, that wasn't like some portal guy that came in banging pots. What are you guys doing? This isn't how we did it out. It's not what was happening. So it's interesting that the portal guys get framed as potentially these bad apples. But then Sark will say, you know, now all of our portal guys really helpful to our culture. He's like, this guy's really good at our culture and they've added to our culture. And it's like,
yeah, but that's a good point you bring up about the difference. It's not just long-term or speed dating. There is some gray area in the middle. As long as you don't burn your bridges, guys could come back around to you. We've talked about Mario Craver. Why did A&M end up getting Mario Craver? There's a relationship on the coaching staff that knew him when that guy was at Bama and he was at Mississippi State. Like, that stuff happens. You just don't burn the bridges and it will come back around. It will eventually come back around to you.
It's really that simple.
By the way, somebody mentioned these. You were talking about Golden. Sandman threw 3 names out. Talked about Golden. Talked about Makuba, obviously, and what he added. And let's just mention this name real quick because I've been thinking about this dude for the last day or so, Catch. Oh, my Lord. A.D. Mitchell, find everything you can find to love about New York. Because you just went from an NFL team that feels like it mattered to an NFL team that feels like it doesn't.
But you know what? That's where you know what, though?
All the best to you. All the best.
Ever since, look, his career, he needed to get the hell out. Because ever since he dropped that ball on the goal line
I know.
Earlier in the season. They had not played him in a game since then. Now, they played him on Sunday, and he caught a pass, I think, for 7 yards. And I remember thinking,
you're
maybe
telling me
he's out of the doghouse. No, that was like, come get him, guys.
They took his reps away totally after that play?
He never, until this weekend, he hadn't gotten back into the game, and he wasn't active. He wasn't on the active roster up until this past Sunday where they played him, but clearly I think we're showing him off a little bit just to, he was going to get moved on Tuesday.
That is teaching a lesson. I did not realize that had happened. Wow.
Well, he was, that play, they thought he was a bust before that play.
Ooh.
So it was like the exclamation mark on the vibe that already, it was just the wrong guy to make that play in that town.
Harish says 2 plays since the Rams game. 2 plays. Damn.
So look, you're right. Not the situation you ideally want to go to. Anything's better than where he was at Indianapolis.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. That maybe hopefully that ends up being a silver lining for him. He could find a good opportunity. All right, if you guys want to throw super chats at us, feel free. Let's give a little love to hijackpoker.com. Go anywhere. Well, not go anywhere, but yeah, go anywhere in the state of Texas, and you can still play hijack poker. Put it on any phone or device you want from the good folks at Texas Card House, who sponsor the show every day. Get that $20 bonus when you sign up, hijackpoker.com, and make your plans. We know Texas and Georgia is an evening kick. Make your plans to join us at TCH Social Austin 183 and Anderson Mill. It's going to be a wild day of college football. Come watch the game with us, hopefully. For Texas, they get a big win. Maybe they take Georgia's spot, because Georgia's just blinking right there at number 5 in the first CFP top 12 rankings. Texas can just take that spot right away from them.
We did a show yesterday. Did you wake up today feeling different about anything? I did. I'm curious. We did the show together.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things I think that after getting to hear from the executive, the executive of the CFP, it's a couple things I think about differently. Well, let me grab this chat real quick because I think this is easy, but you tell me, Catch, because who knows? This says, honest question. A lot of talk about Texas getting in at 9-3 by splitting Georgia and A&M, giving them 3 top 10 wins. What if they lose to Arkansas, beat Georgia and A&M, giving them 4 top 10 wins? Is it still valid? Clint, my gut would say the Arkansas loss would be too heavy to overcome.
I think you're maybe right, but it's an impossibly high. You're still 9-3 and punishing them for the Ohio State loss. So
you'd have to,
if they're 10-2 and have I don't know. I'll tell you what it's doing. It's making Chad and I squeamish. So that's tough. Probably the answer to your question.
And it depends on what it looks like, Clint. Let's be honest. If they go to Athens, what if they won by double digits and finished the game like they did in Tuscaloosa a couple of years ago?
What if they play in the Arkansas game? Like, we do know that they are.
There you go. Right there.
Nuance.
There you go. It could be a little detail there. And then what if you really handled the Aggies? What if you beat the Aggies in Austin by, 2 touchdowns or more?
I don't think you want to test the theory, though.
I don't either. I wouldn't want to mess with it. But Catch, here's what I learned listening to the executive director that I think is important for everybody is they're using a lot of metrics in certain cases, but they are also looking at how a football team is playing. So while I might have put Texas above Notre Dame, I get their argument. To me, their argument sounds like this. They're both a 2-loss team. If you analyze those 2 losses, they're saying the Miami loss for Notre Dame is better than the Florida loss for Texas. I think we all could understand that logic based on those 2 teams. But moreover, they're saying, remember, the other thing that got added this year was that, remember that whole strength of record thing? And then it's like, how did you do against your record? We all heard that and we thought, oh yeah, that means if you schedule a tough team and you barely lose to them, they give you some respect. Okay, fine. But it also means if you play a team like Mississippi State or Kentucky and you barely beat them in overtime, the committee can look at you and say, well, that doesn't really feel super consistent. If you play 55 minutes against Vanderbilt and it looks like that, and then the last 5 minutes look like that, they can call you inconsistent. And catch, they're calling Notre Dame consistent. Since the A&M loss, they've gone 56-30, 56-13, 28-7, 36-7, 34-24, and 25-10. 10 or more in every game. And the 10 was against a ranked team. They're whipping teams they're supposed to whip. Jeremiah Love is putting up crazy numbers. I had forgotten about forgotten about Notre Dame once the A&M game ended. I just put them aside.
Well, they lost the next week too. So
no, they didn't.
Wait,
no.
They lost their first game and then they lost to A&M.
Correct. Miami was first. Then it was A&M. But after that A&M loss, a lot of people just kind of set them aside. I'm one of them. I forgot about them. And then they really went on a tear. So that, I think, is what the committee is saying. And then I think that message goes out to Texas. How you play is going to matter, not just the wins and losses. This is college football, not the pros. It's a pageant, not just a playoff system. And the other simple one catch for Aggie fans that might be pissed off they didn't get to number one, the executive director laid it out. And in the end, he said, we thought they were close, but we thought Ohio State and Indiana were better on defense. Go look at the numbers. Total defense. Ohio State is 1, Indiana is 7, and the Aggies are like 31. I get the argument. The committee is looking at those 2 wins the Aggies had on the road against Arkansas and Notre Dame and saying, hey, congrats on the win, but you gave up a lot of points in those wins. We're going to ding you for it.
Why is that Arkansas game even being discussed? Like, why would that get brought up?
Because they gave up 42.
Okay.
I mean, you go on the road and you get a win. Now, it was also kind of like the Texas Vandy game. They were up 45-35. They let Arkansas score late. I just think it shows a sloppiness on defense. That's what I'm saying. The committee, I think, is looking at that A&M defense, and they're not trusting them as much as the
but what was the
Ohio State
argument for A&M to be ranked ahead of Ohio State?
It was metrics. It was like strength of record and strength of schedule. That's what everybody was arguing that wanted the Aggies to be.
Nobody thinks they've really played anybody.
Well, and that's the other thing. If you break it all down, I mean, if you forget the fact that everybody they've played except one team has fired their coach, but it is kind of a telling stat. But yeah, I mean, it's about who you have played. Do you have a good, is there quality all the way through your schedule? I think it's
interesting, though. The committee would apparently tell us that winning at Oregon had the same value as winning at Notre Dame, essentially. Because they're not, they're one spot away from each other.
Right. Yes.
And I look at that win for Indiana much different than I look at that win for A&M.
Okay. You give Indiana more credit. I
probably shouldn't, but I do.
Yeah, the Notre Dame game, again, now that Notre Dame has gone on this run, that win does look better. And the other thing about that game that's, maybe the committee took into account, A&M won the game by 1 because the backup quarterback for the other team dropped a extra point hold.
I mean, okay, yes.
Right? Like there's little things you can look at, and they're trying to delineate. I had no problem with where A&M was ranked. I did not think A&M needed to be, because the other part is they're also telling us, I think, deep down, here's what the committee told us last night. They think if Notre Dame played Texas on a neutral, they'd pick Notre Dame. They think if Ohio State or Indiana played A&M on a neutral, they'd pick the Big Ten team. That's what they told us. Like, of all the other stuff, I think that part of it comes into play, and I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with those arguments. I might disagree with that situation. If you tell me those teams are playing next week, would I pick one of the Texas teams? Maybe. But I get the argument. So after thinking about it, listening to the guy try to explain it, I understand it a little more. And I do like the fact that they're looking at how you are progressing through your schedule. Because I do think in this version, it probably should matter.
You want to play some buy or sell?
I'm ready. Let's do it. You want to go first or second?
I'll go first today.
All
right. Buy or sell number 1. After seeing the playoff rankings for the first time, the Longhorns have less than a 50% chance of making the playoffs at 9-3, regardless of circumstances.
I'll sell that. They're still Texas after all. And the 9-3 would mean they would have beaten one of those teams. And who knows how they lose to the other. They're Texas. I'd put it at more than a coin flip.
Okay.
So
Buy or sell number 2. Speaking of percentages in the playoffs, you are about 75% sure that the Aggies will make the playoffs.
Oh my God. Oh my Lord. That's not that high. Sell. I really, really need to see this game this weekend. A&M has lost their last 6 SEC road games in November when they play a ranked team. They've lost their last 7 SEC road games in November, period. I got to see it, man. I'm not at 75%.
Buy or sell number 3. You're not ready for college basketball season.
Bye. Yeah. I'm one of those, even though it's November already, I definitely don't need any NBA discussion in October. That's silly to me. Even though we're into November. Yeah, I saw some highlights last night, and obviously the Texas game's on. I'm like, wait, what? That's tonight? Yeah, I'm not quite ready.
I was watching the Texas Duke game, and it was just like, I don't know these dudes.
I know. Exactly.
It's like, who's this big 7-foot white guy? Like, when did that happen? And then, like, I knew that it happened, but like college first, just college basketball, Texas could have beaten Duke last night, and I still would have come away from it thinking, I need some warm up.
Yeah.
Like, it really does. You have to know college basketball, and maybe even baseball too a little bit. You got to get to know the players a little bit. It helps.
Yeah, I was going to say,
you got to learn your talent.
Yeah, I talked about speed dating earlier in the portal. College basketball is all speed dating. You got to learn it, and you got to learn it in one season because they're all going to go. I
was just like, it's so like stark how drastically different one team is from one year to the next. And it was just like, okay, I know who that is, but like, I don't know. So I need more time. What I need is for Texas to play like 10 games against New Mexico A&M, and let me just watch them play, get a feel for. Like, I just had no idea what I was watching. I don't know what my expectation should be for any of these dudes. It's very weird. Because when Texas goes to Ohio State, we might have been wrong, but we thought we knew what we were going to see.
Yeah, we did. Right.
I was like, I do not know what I'm watching. Yeah. Buy or sell number 4. The Cowboys overpaid to get Quinnen Williams from the Jets. But you don't really care.
I think overall that's a buy because I do agree. Yeah, that's obvious. I mean, it all kind of washes out, right? And Micah Parsons, and you got stuff for it, but then you got rid of that, and you probably didn't get enough for him, and then you gave up too much to get Quinnen, and it's all deck chairs on the Titanic for me. So, yeah, I really don't care. Yeah, that's a buy. That's a buy. Watch the Arizona game catch, just like I've been watching games recently with the Cowboys, just flatline. No blood pressure up, no blood pressure down, just flatline.
The thing is, I was thinking about like the Roy Williams trade and the Joey Galloway trades.
Oh, God, Galloway. 2 firsts, 2 seconds.
Then I was like, they don't make that trade. It's not like anything changes.
Right. Yeah. No, that's it.
So I was like, you know what? I'm okay with Quinnen Williams. I'm going to see him play.
Yeah, that's the joke of all jokes with this team catch is that as that game progressed, the analysts started saying, whatever deal Jerry's talking about, he needs to call it off because it ain't going to matter. Like, that's sad, right? At the trade deadline when because there's some, I mean, what they were
like, Troy said on Monday.
Yeah.
There's no player that they could trade for that basically makes them a good team.
Yeah.
And then they got their ass kicked by the Cardinals, man.
He said it as that game was happening. He said it as it was occurring. Yeah, I don't know one player in the NFL that could fix this. I'm like, oh.
And then they got whipped.
Come on, 8.
We hadn't even talked about that game. Like, sometimes I've just gotten to the point where it's like, I don't need to discuss that.
No, I'm telling you what. If you want to look like the best version of yourself, get the Cowboys on your schedule. It will wake up your football team.
10 years ago, that would have bugged me a lot.
Oh, now, I know. Me too.
Now I'm like,
Dude,
I can remember caring that Romo wasn't going to have like a moment, that his entire career was going to go by and like there wasn't going to be. That's everybody.
Catch, when we were doing radio back in the day, when our ages began with 2s and 3s, we'd have lost our mind on a game like that.
In fact, I think my reputation in this household, my kids don't know what I looked like when I was a stark raving mad Cowboys fan.
No, probably not.
Like, it is not the same. My Liverpool addiction is not the same.
Right.
And I swear, like, I will hear her be like, sometimes you just act crazy. And it's like,
yeah.
Well, when you met me, I did.
Like, I got to watch your Liverpool addiction sit next to me and watch a game that they ended up losing. And I thought to myself, I bet you his Cowboy fan version right now is like, I don't know, 20% of what I'm watching right now. If that.
I'm a 2%er. And I thought, all things considered, I kept it together pretty well at the restaurant.
Oh, you did. It was all inside. It was all like yeah.
You just even mentioning that has brought back memories that I am not happy with. So I have one more.
Was that 5? Oh no, second.
No, I have one more. Buy or sell number 5.
Yes.
Do you like the Aggies to beat Indiana if they played each other in the playoffs?
Whoo!
Neutral field, not first round on the road.
Right, not a first round game. Man.
Because they would be the 2-3 matchup in a world where.
Yeah, I'm oh God. I really, unlike others, I've really come to respect that Indiana team for what they are. I think I'm gonna sell. I would take Indiana in a close one.
I don't know what the answer is.
I would take Indiana. I really think, top to bottom, the toughness of that team. I think the, ability to stop the run might be enough. Is Le'Veon Moss playing in the game? Like, that's a big part of this week. Tonight's injury report, I'm really paying attention to as an A&M fan of Le'Veon Moss. Is he playing or not? So right now, I would say it's Indiana by a little bit. But boy, would I love to see those two go at it.
Well, that means you guys have probably made a little bit. You know what I mean? Like,
right, of course. Yeah, give me that game and make the neutral site anywhere you want. I don't care. All right. Thank you guys for jumping in the Specs chat. I do see that super chat. We will get to it after we hear from the good folks at Specs.
When fall's chill hits the air, raise a glass with cash to spare. Specs can fill those longer nights with fancy cheese and wine flights. Camp is set and the night is young? Grab a brewski. Time for fun. Game day underway? Specs delivers. It's a great day. Picnic in the park. Perfect pairing for the heart. Stock up and save on seasonal cheer. Because when you shop at Specs, the fun starts here.
Here's to you, shout cheers to savings.
Before I get to my buy or sell, let me sneak this in. Mike, I'm sorry I didn't see it earlier. A $10 super chat. Catch, I'm a little behind. What do you think of only going after blue chips in high school, then taking the rest of your guys in the portal?
No, because...
What's that number? 10?
It's like 6 or 7. I mean,
could you maybe get to 10 and consider it blue chips?
Like, really? Yes, you could, but probably like one guy was rated as a super blue chip by one service, but not the other 2 services. You're not talking about guys that are like across consensus, right?
That's a lot. A lot for a team of Texas's level. We're looking at a team like Tech and what they just did in the portal, what Colorado has done, but I don't think Texas can live in that world.
No, look, I think that I've said I am comfortable with like a 50-50 split. So a year ago, they signed 37 incoming players, 26 high school, 11 portal guys. For me, that needed to be 19, 18. I don't really care which way.
So you're really down the middle. You're good with a straight up split.
My concern is you got to look at your program and ask yourself, how does my infrastructure build? And you also have to give some allowance, I think, to your staff to say, look, pick a guy. Who's your guy? The thing that's frustrating about recruiting is every coach thinks that every guy that they sign, they're going to turn into somebody. They believe every single one.
Right.
And the reality is Steve Sarkisian can pull his guys aside and go, look, even if you're good at development, you're 1-4. Even if you're good.
Right. And in the portal, you get to see them become something. They are some version of something.
You know, I can make a case that taking 4 to hit 1 isn't a terrible investment, but you have to you really need to consider what is the payoff though, right? Like, is it 1-4, but you come away with a guy who's a 7th round draft pick?
Yeah.
Is that enough for?
If I have 4 portal guys over here, how many of them are going to hit for what you need? At least 2, right?
We'll get 3 times the rate and immediately, as opposed to this guy might help us out by 2029.
Yeah. Just pick. In fact, just pick 4 guys Texas just got out of the portal. Pick any 4 you want. How many have hit? It's probably 3 out of 4, no matter which group you pick.
Yeah.
Right? And then,
I just think that, and what I would say to this question, Mike, is that these are the conversations that need to be taking place behind the scenes with people that Steve Sarkisian would trust. Somebody's got to do the work on this and say, look, this is how we're going to allocate our resources in recruiting based on all of the data that we're getting in as the year goes. But the data shows don't take defensive backs that are going to take at least 3 years to develop, that aren't super blue chips, because those guys won't stay long enough, right? There's got to be this conversation of what's realistic to expect from this guy. Is it realistic to expect him to be patient enough to go on the what's realistic to expect scale? And more times than not in recruiting, the Ryan Niblets of the world are far and few between. Why is Ryan Niblett even like a conversation point right now? Because he did the thing that basically nobody else in the program did. He was going to leave, and Sark was like, no, don't. First of all, that never really happens. Most of the guys that enter the portal, Sark's like, hey, man, so do you need me to, sorry to see you, but do you need me to call you an Uber? I can call it. I got the app on my phone. Like, I got you.
You know, you can get boxes at the grocery store, right?
We'll send you your shit if you need us to. Like, just go. So, you know, I try to be quite open that this is a constantly evolving strategy. I'm okay with that as an answer from Sark. What can't be, I think, the answer for anybody in college football is, we know the answers. Nothing's changing. Nothing's happening in real time that might change our general philosophy. And, you know, that's going to get you in trouble. And I think it did get Texas in trouble this offseason. And the question is, Sark typically has been pretty good at not repeating mistakes from year to year. It's not universal, but we've seen him make adjustments. And I think we've even seen him do it in the portal. I go back to, I guess we won't get him on Thursday, but like I was thinking about asking today the question of, Sark, you a couple of weeks ago talked about you took 11 and you kind of felt like that was maybe the limits of what you felt comfortable with, but you framed that against the backdrop of taking 30. That's a
huge gap.
It's a huge gap.
That's a huge. Would you be okay with 15? I think would be the follow-up to that.
Right. If the idea was you're going to take 37 incoming guys and 30 of them are from the portal, I love the portal, but even I'm like,
that'd be a little crazy. Yeah. My question would be, out of every 30, are you cool with 15 and 15? Out of every 30 are you cool with 15 portal, 15 recruiting?
That's where I think for a team that recruits really well, the thing that comes, there are some schools that never get transfers. Baylor is a good example. For whatever reason, Aranda's been able to keep that team pretty intact. Now, look, they're not very good, so what does it matter if they're intact? But what you would be able to say with Baylor or some of the programs that have, I think Vanderbilt would qualify. Georgia is an example, like Texas. They don't have mass. You look at the SEC numbers in Texas, Georgia, and Vanderbilt. Ironically, like, think about it now. is kind of interesting to say it like that. Well, at first,
high
like,
retention rates, right? All three high
Right.
retention rates. Yeah.
their departure rates are the lowest in the SEC. And so when that's the case, I think you can maybe talk about a strategy that involves projects a little bit differently than a school that gets a lot more turnover. And Texas, now that the roster's deeper, because they've always been able to have their super blue chips come in right away and make an immediate impact by and large. There have been very few guys that Arch is one of the only guys that was really highly recruited that for the first couple of years, you were like, can't get on the field at all? Like, what is that? But this year, we've seen that Texas, and a lot of this is where did they recruit last year really well? Defense. Well, where are they really stacked? Defense. The one area where we know they brought in some talent on paper that hasn't made a real impact is the wide receiver position. But there's nobody on the offensive line that people are dying to see play that's not. None of the running backs, no offense, James Simon. Like, I try to tell people he's got a chance to be a solid college player, but like this is not a guy that's changing. He's not forcing his way onto the field.
Yeah. The key is you need both. You need both. Every year, teams like Texas, to me, Catch, should have both of those things. Do you have a badass freshman running back that could be great? Yep. Do you have a running back you got out of the portal? Yep, we got that too.
This is why, look, I know we got to wrap up, probably pay for more bills and stuff, but it's why having someone who's unaffiliated with the coaching staff be in charge of personnel, because your coaches have made promises to these kids. Hey, hang in there with me, man. I believe in you. Right. Next year, the run at playing time is like wide open for you. Well, look, man, maybe a position coach can say that. There's got to be somebody that's like, my only job is to optimize the talent and the competition and the best ability immediately, short and long term. It's a multiple tiered job, but like my job is not show feelings, it's show business. And whereas I think Steve Sarkisian and his coaches looked at the running backs and went, oh man, we really like CJ Baxter and Christian. Are we really going to bring in somebody that might get in their way? We like them so much. And there needs to be somebody that's like, you didn't pay me to come here to like them, did you?
Right.
Like I'm here to make the roster as good as it possibly can be so you can win a national championship.
Yeah, that's it. The other thing, Catch, as you were talking earlier about this, here's the change that needs to happen. You've been saying Texas needs to be out in front on something. Here it is. They need to be treating high school recruiting like the NFL looks at its first round. You got to put a cap on the amount you'll give them early. They could get it later in the portal, free agency, but you got to figure out a way to lower those numbers on the recruiting side.
Well, and that is taking place.
That they absolutely have to do that, and they've got to stay with it.
And can I give you an example?
Sure.
There's a couple of guys that Sukamel has been reporting on in the last couple of days that are kind of playing footsie with other schools. Okay. Max Wright, Texas offensive line commitment, playing footsie with SMU. Defensive tackle Dylan Barrymore playing footsie with Mississippi State.
Berryman, okay.
What did I say? Barrymore?
You said Barrymore, like Drew Barrymore. It's Berryman, isn't it?
You know, the thing is, I've been working on a project. And I've just seen a lot of women's names. I got Barrymore on the brain.
You got Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore top 10. Is it coming?
No, but that's not a terrible idea. No. I think that those schools are probably going like, hey, we got some extra money. They would be massive pieces individually for those schools. And just from what I've heard, and this doesn't apply to these two guys specifically, what I've heard is Texas will spend money on the elite of the elite. They're not wasting money on like lower level recruits. So that's the good. Basic 4-star guy, which both of these guys kind of qualify as that. They're not super blue chips. They're good prospects. They're both guys that probably need 2 or 3 years of development. At SMU, easier to get on the field early, easier probably to be a focal point and somebody that won't be recruited over. And if they want to pay those guys $400,000, and that kid wants to go back to Texas and say, they're offering me $100,000 more than you are.
Right. They got to stand
What
pat.
I've been told is philosophically, the reply of that will be, hey, man, you got to do what you got to do.
Okay. Yeah. It's probably the right move. It is probably the right move. All right. One other chat I wanted to hit real quick. Chad is not wrong to bring it up. Aggies got away with a blatant hold on the game-winning touchdown play against Notre Dame. Yes, they did, Chad. Yes, they did. And after watching years and years of sometimes it doesn't go your way, it was kind of cool to see it go the Aggies' way. Also, catch to this, I say, yeah, I see what you're doing there. Yeah, I see you. And this one, right? I know. You know, it'd be cool, catch, if we had like a translator function, right? If we could have something just translate on Restream, that'd be kind of nice. All right, I need to do my buy or sell for catch. We will do that real quick. Let me show you a pork chop from Hayes City Store. We had somebody at our watch party the other day go from that spot, from TCH Social Austin, out to Big Bend. And on their way, they went to Hayes City Store. FM 150 in Driftwood. Don't ever be in a hurry going to Hayes City because it is a little bit of a ways out there, but it's an awesome drive. It's beautiful hill country drive. You're going to have great food. You're going to have awesome drinks. You're going to get treated well. The atmosphere is great, and you might just have the best pork chop of your life. Grilled, blackened, and chicken fried. It's the place I would tell you to start. If you don't know what you want, but you like pork chops, I would tell you to start with one at Hayes City Store. Tell them you heard about it here on Orange Bloods Live. It is always a good time out there. And catch, I'm just throwing the idea out. I know you're a long way from there, but if you wanted extra power for Texas and Georgia, maybe you should go to Hayes City and have their enchiladas. I'm just saying. Just a thought. Just a thought.
I'll add that to a list of suggestions that I have, but does not sound terrible.
There you go. All right, catch. Buy or sell, number 124 wins the game in Athens next week. Buy or sell?
Sell. Going to take more. Might
Going to take
30.
more? Going into the
But
30s?
these
Okay.
two teams can move the football, and I don't know. I mean, I kind of think we're going to see some points.
Man, this version of Arch.
Maybe 27 wins it, but 24 doesn't feel high enough.
If Arch and Stockton both show up and both do what they can do, and those man, what a game that could be. All right, catch. How about this weekend? Buy or sell number 2. A&M and Tech both win this week.
Sell. I mean, that just feels like the math of it all. Like there's a 25% chance that, I'm just going to take the odds and say that there's some sort of different combination there. It could happen, but I'll go the other way.
So, catch, here's my number of the week real quick. This is where you and I know we're in a different era. The best basic number matchup in Lubbock is when BYU wants to run the ball. They are 15th in the country running it. Texas Tech is number 1 in run defense in America. That speaks.
I'm looking forward to that game just to find out.
Me too. But that speaks against everything you and I know about those two programs. Think about what I just said. BYU is a badass run team. Texas Tech can stop it better than anybody. That's insane.
I don't know. Insane. I've seen BYU run the ball a few times.
Okay.
I've seen their quarterback run the ball a few times against Texas, I guess is what I'm trying to say, Chad.
I wasn't really going down to Taysom Hill. But
right, when you're like, BYU runs the football. That's surprising. No, it's not, Chad.
See, it's funny. It's funny how the scarring works. My scarring was about Sarkisian.
I know what yours is.
My right. It was about Sarkisian and passes. It wasn't about running. And I wasn't thinking Taysom Hill. My bad.
I mean, all you got to do is go back to 2023 when they played BYU and Texas was clearly better. And
right.
Texas fans were terrified that they were going to roll out Taysom Hill. So,
you're right.
Somewhere.
I swear, Texas fans, I was not trying to make a joke there. I had forgotten about your pain on that one. All right, catch. Buy or sell number 3. You would have ranked A&M number 1 in the CFP.
Sell. I don't even have them 3rd in the SEC.
All right, because
I would take Ole Miss on a neutral field right now over A&M, who I do have ranked 4th. I mean, it's not a huge deal, but I still want to see A&M. This is a good weekend for them, although they get a Missouri team that won't have its starting quarterback. So, hey, man, if you're A&M, you only play who they line up in front of. You just win, baby. Don't worry about all the rest of the stuff. But, there's a part of me that wants to see them in the kind of game that Texas will be in next week.
All right, Catch, buy or sell number 4. Notre Dame will win out and get into the CFP.
Buy.
Yeah,
I think so. I'm not real impressed with Pitt. So if Pitt is the hope, the great hope, then I don't know how much hope there is.
I think you might be right, but go Navy and go Pitt just in case. And finally,
if the Navy game wasn't in South Bend,
yeah,
maybe.
I think there's still yeah, right. If it was at Navy, maybe. Last year I thought they were maybe dropped that one, but I don't think they actually did. Number 5, Catch, you will eat enchiladas next week and this week. No chances. Buy or sell?
Oh, buy.
Okay.
I don't know what the plan is, but it's Wednesday. I start to really I don't know that Michelle and I, like her and I haven't texted this week. Maybe I need to. Kind of feels like this is a week where let's just get our enchiladas in to be safe. And then we got to figure out Saturday or next week. I think it's got to be a special deal.
Okay. Fair
and
enough.
we've had a lot of people who are like, y'all need to go do this. Y'all need to go do that. There needs to places in Houston. People have been like, y'all need to come into Austin and go to like Matt's El Rancho. Like there's all kinds of suggestions.
Like to me, I think it'd be fine. It'd just be a bonus if either you or Michelle actually found an enchilada you like. That's not really what this is about. I just think you guys need to just keep checking the box. You know what I mean? Like it shouldn't be about y'all finding an enchilada you like. It's just about y'all to me, that should not be the goal.
I thought that the ones that we had, I have had enchiladas that I'm like, I would have those again.
Oh, that's
It's
good.
not the same. It's not the same thing as that's what I would order first and foremost if I went in. So I haven't had that experience yet, but
yeah, that is an interesting one because like just the other night, I sent you pictures of enchiladas I was eating. I went to a Mexican food place, one of our favorites, and that's what I felt like. So that's the level you need to get to. Not every time, but every once in a while in your rotation, you go, you know what I feel like? Their chicken enchiladas or their shrimp enchilada, whatever it is. Their beef enchilada.
I think I'm definitely closer to that than Michelle is.
Michelle is
really not.
Have you been able to determine what world of enchiladas you're into? Have you figured out your lane of enchiladas?
I mean, I like beef or chicken, and I haven't really had cheese yet. Like I haven't done just the basic cheese.
Okay, gotcha. Beef or chicken right now. All right, it's good place to start. All right, before we get out of here, let me hit you with one more of our great partners, and it is the one that can help you sleep good. Sinus and snoring specialist. They helped me sleep good in 2017. That's when I first went in there, and there was the balloon sinuplasty procedure, so technical, and they got rid of my snoring and sleep apnea and allergies and all that stuff. I haven't had to worry about allergies. Think about that. In like 8 years, going on 9, I used to have to I took a pill every day. I did nose spray every day and all that kind of stuff. 2 or 3 times a year, allergies would drive me nuts. November was one of those times. Now we're into November, and I just thought about that fact. Sinus and snoring specialist can help you. 601-0303. Call or securely text them on that number. They got everything covered there in terms of the HIPAA stuff. Or just go to sinussnoringent.com. Start checking out videos and info there, and then let them help you. Feel clear, rested, and healthy with sinus and snoring specialists. Be sure to tell them that you heard about it here on Orange Bloods Live. All right, Catch, Mr. Recruiting is dead. Anything else on the show today?
Nope, I'm good. We got it. We went good for an hour. We're really good.
By the way, Tyler, graphics department, mwah, on that Grim Reaper. What well done. That was when we asked for a Grim Reaper image, you really came through. Just beautiful stuff.
You were worried that it might have needed something else.
I did. I was. Good point. Do we need another element? You said, no. Just give that to Tyler. He'll figure it out.
He was going to make that work.
And he nailed it. He made it look like one of my favorite heavy metal videos. It really was beautiful. It looks like an Iron Maiden album cover.
You took the words out of my mouth.
God, it was awesome. It's like if you put Eddie's face on that Grim Reaper, I think you would complete the picture. We'll be back tomorrow for a Thursday show. Hopefully that means Brian Jones of CBS Sports. Who do they get to look at this week? Ooh, Oregon. The big time game is Oregon at Iowa. We'll ask Brian about that. Plus Texas not getting in the top 12. And, Brian will swear and it'll be fun. That's tomorrow at 12. Check out all the other stuff on the channel. We appreciate your support here at Orange.